Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bosch. The number of clean diesel models in North America will double by 2014. Bosch Clean Diesel. Good, clean, fun. Bridgestone. Your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems. Improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com. And by the 2013 Hyundai Sonata. Learn more at HyundaiSonata.com.
Well, we're halfway through the week and there's no shortage of new developments, so let's get to them. Bill Ford Jr., the chairman of the Ford Motor Company, just bought the oldest surviving example of a car made by the automaker. It's a 1903 Model A. Bill Ford paid $264,000 for it at auction. Something of a bargain because the last time it traded hands, it went for $630,000. The 8-horsepower car originally retailed for $850, and in today's dollars, that is about $20,000. Even though the UAW is fighting against the right-to-work law in Michigan, it already operates in 5 right-to-work states: Texas, Kansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, and Indiana. Specifically, the UAW represents 18,000 GM, Ford, and Chrysler workers who are in 7 manufacturing plants in those right-to-work states. Obviously, those workers see a benefit to joining the union and paying their dues, even though they do not legally have to do so. And this would suggest the union should not really have any problems with Michigan going right to work. Jaguar Land Rover are considering building an assembly plant in Saudi Arabia, of all places. According to Ward's Auto, a key reason is manufacturing aluminum components. Starting in 2014, the country will be home to the largest integrated aluminum production complex in the world. JLR announced it's also going to build a factory in China and will expand its plant in India. Global sales for the company are up 32% so far this year, and it must think that it needs a lot more capacity. Speaking of lightweight materials, BMW announced it will collaborate with Boeing on carbon fiber. The companies plan on sharing information about manufacturing carbon fiber, looking into automation opportunities, and researching carbon fiber recycling. Things are not looking so bright at California-based electric car maker Coda. It's made a substantial number of layoffs, 50 to be exact. That's about 15% of its workforce. The majority of the layoffs were in sales and marketing, and this doesn't come as a huge surprise because the company has not even sold 100 units of its $37,000 all-electric sedan that went on sale in March. And it piggybacks on the fact that the vehicle only received 2 stars in a frontal crash test, and there's already been a recall. In an effort to use more alternative fuels, the city of Indianapolis has plans to phase out the use of gasoline and diesel in the city's vehicle fleets by 2025. They're going to use a mix of electricity and natural gas in cars, heavy trucks, and police cruisers in the years to come. City buses are exempt from the revamp because they're run by a separate entity. Coming up next, it's time for You Said It.
Dow Automotive Systems, driving solutions in automotive, commercial transportation, and aftermarket with innovative products like Betamate structural adhesives. Lighter, stronger, safer. dowbetamate.com.
And now it's time for some of your feedback. We sure got a lot of feedback on Ford's 1-liter 3-cylinder engine. M360 says, you gotta love Ford Motor Company and what they're doing. EcoBoost engines brought new meaning to turbocharging. Now they have a 3-cylinder engine. Who else does that? Well, don't forget that Fiat has a sub-1-liter 2-cylinder engine. And a number of you commented on Ford's 3-cylinder engine rubber timing belt. Revamped whales. What, no timing chain on that 3-cylinder? I don't like that fact of replacing the timing belt every 60K. It's gonna be a pain to fix. And Swing Low 33 chimes in. Replacing the belt in that Fiesta requires an appointment with an ASE certified mechanic. Ford knows how to bring in the customers one way or another. Well, our own on-staff ASE certified tech, Sean, agrees with you. He says with the timing belt going down into the oil pan, there's going to be some serious engine disassembly to get to that belt. But Ford says the belt will last for the life of the engine. C-Tech had a comment about New York City cab drivers suing the city over forcing them to only use the Nissan NV200 van going forward. Why does NYC need an official cab anyway? Is there some kickback from Nissan for this dubious honor? Well, I don't think there's any kickback. I think New York wants some sort of consistency in its cab fleet and wants an iconic look, just like London has with its cabs. But I think the taxi companies probably know what's best for themselves, not city officials. Will is intrigued with all the issues with EPA fuel economy labels. I see that they've lowered the EPA highway ratings of the 2012 Sonata and Optima hybrids to 39 from 40. You should hold a viewer contest to predict what Ford will lower C-Max's and Fusion hybrids ratings to. I think that inferior aerodynamics of the taller C-Max will cause its highway number to be dropped more than Fusion's. How about 4142 C-Max and 4143 Fusion hybrid? And Parikshith from India wants to know, is it possible that the auto manufacturers are changing the engine mapping of the cars that are sent to the EPA? Has anyone taken an EPA car and put it on a dyno? Well, I don't think any automaker would take that risk, Parikshith, of changing the engine mapping, because the penalty for getting caught would be horrific. The problem is with the EPA test itself. Today's hybrids can run in EV mode for most of the test, and the result is much higher fuel economy than what you would get in the real world. You know, the EPA has often made adjustments to its test over the years as technology and driver behavior changed. It's simply time for the EPA to make another adjustment. Hey, thanks for all your letters and comments. We can't answer them all, but we do go through them all, so keep them coming. And don't forget to tune into Autoline After Hours tomorrow night starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time or 2300 GMT for the best insider information in the business. Our special guest is John Morton, the guy who heads up all the racing activities at Borg Warner. So join me and the auto extremist Peter DeLorenzo for what promises to be a turbocharged conversation. And that wraps up today's report. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.